I've just taken 1 hour of recording Tabletop Simulator playing with components, and these are the cores I came up with. First up, we have High Rollers. It is a game about rolling really high. Basically, you're going to take the 5 dice, you're going to roll them, and then you have a chance to improve one die at a time or cash out points equal to the total of all the dice. To improve a dice, you just re-roll one die at a time. If the new value is higher, you get to keep it. If the new value is equal or lower, discard the die. It is now worth 0. High Roller is all about getting blood from a stone. It's taking risks so that you can get minuscule gains in order to gain the advantage over any opponents. And next up, we have Dice Wars. Think of it as one part that card game war, one part risk, and then added strategy for good measure. This one begins with an objective track. Token starts in the middle, and every time one of the two players scores, they push that tracker down the line. Reach the end and you win. Each player will secretly roll 5 dice, no rerolls involved in this one, and then they'll engage in 4 battles, and this will continue looping until someone wins the game. A battle involves each player secretly picking 1 dice and pushing it forward. When they reveal the number, the higher value advances 1 step along the victory track. Ones are a special case, some sort of a spy or assassin or something. They only beat a 6, and if they win, they take 2 steps on the victory track. But in the case of a tie, you get a struggle. A struggle is straight out of classic card game war. These dice are set aside, and it's +1 bonus point to whoever wins next. And this can loop any number of times. Dice War is a game about competing minds. You're trying to predict what your opponent is going to do, and you're trying to figure out the best way to minimize a bad hand. And the third pick is a fantasy battler using 5 dice. In this fantasy battle, you're going to have to deal with a number of threat cards without triggering whatever the losing condition is. Let's say it's losing all your health. Each threat card will have its own health and its own effect that is applied at the end of every turn if you don't defeat it. Once again, you roll your 5 dice, but in this case, every 5 or 6 is considered a hit and allows you to deal 1 damage to any threat card. If you don't get any successes, your turn is going to end in failure. And if your turn is not ended, you may discard 1 die to roll all the remaining dice in your hand. If you voluntarily end your turn, you regain all your lost dice. But if you rolled no successes, you do not recover before your next action. The key to Fantasy Battle is just knowing when to keep attacking and when to just take your beating for the turn. You'll see this same format used in the classic dice game Farkle. And there we go, 3 dice cores for you to use in your own designs or just use for inspiration on your own. We can pick up next week with turning one of these designs into a real game. See you then.